been traveling non-stop for 42 to 44 hours, not quite 48 hours, but 42 to 48 hours.
Wake up! Wake up! Run, Russia, put a little makeup!
I've just arrived in Izmir. I went from Vienna to Cologne.
Cologne, Germany, okay?
But not the usual way. I didn't go via plane.
And without a Saturday stay over, that fare difference will be $1,137.11. Did you...
There's an airplane out there.
Yeah, that's right, and everybody's boarding. Let's go.
Airline travel is very dangerous.
But don't be silly. It's the safest travel in the world. You're gonna love this. Trust me.
Yeah.
Now, come on.
Oh, no.
I took a ridiculously long bus.
You ever traveled by bus before? Your mood's probably not going to improve much.
Don't ask. That's what I did. And then a very long journey from Cologne to Izmir.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the modern Tony's family. From the town of Bedrock, they're a page right out of history.
And now here I am in Izmir. I'm in the lobby, and I'm about to go and explore Izmir. I apologize in advance that I might be a bit sleepy.
Wake up! Wake up!
But I have literally 24 hours to explore Izmir. I'm going to make the most of it, so join me on this journey. This is going to wake me up. Give me energy.
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
So I just had an amazing fish soup for lunch, very, very tasty. It seems to have given me a little bit of energy now. I'm energized, the sun is helping. Amazing blue skies, super hot. I think it's about 36 degrees. And time to really explore the city. I've got less than 24 hours here, so I really want to sort of take in as much as possible. Hello. Hello. What do you say? So what I'm standing beneath here, and you just saw sort of a distance shot of it, is the Izmir Clock Tower. Now, it's not big, but it's certainly a very beautiful masterpiece. It was built in the early 1900s, pretty much right at the end of the Ottoman Empire period. They built this as sort of just symbolic for the city, and it is now one of the main focal points in Izmir. This is literally one of the main squares. As you can see, there's benches around the edge. Apparently at night time, a lot of locals will sit around here. It's super hot right now, so only the white man, the gringo.
You trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
I know it's not, they don't speak Spanish here, but we're the ones out in the midday sun.
Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. The Japanese don't care. The Chinese wouldn't dare to. Hindus and Argentines sleep firmly from 12 to 1, but Englishmen detest a siesta.
Being lobsters.
Don't boil me! I'm still alive! Iraq lobster!
But it's very beautiful, and what's nice about it, it's got running water. London could learn a lot here. Got running water. You can turn it on. Try not to splash the bag. See that? Precious, precious life water. Wash your hands. It's nice. It's nice. Beautiful, beautiful masterpiece. And I reckon there's about, well, there's 12 taps all around the clock tower. It's 3 on each side. So there we go. So a long taxi drive to the telecabine, or it's called something else in Turkish, but I like to call it telecabine. It's the French influence, I guess. I'm going to basically take myself up to the top of the mountain, get a good view, and gives us a good perspective on how large this city really is, because it is pretty big. It's actually a very, very big city. It literally took 25 minutes to get from where I was walking along the coast to Telecabine. So the population of Izmir is this. I didn't realize it was as big as that, but it is. Straight away you can notice the difference as soon as you get to the top. The air is drier. It was very humid down towards the water. The air is actually cleaner as well. It feels a lot cleaner, and you can hear the sound of crickets and cicadas, I imagine. And it's nice so far. It's gonna go to explore. Every bench has their own little private barbecue. We saw a couple of people barbecuing downstairs. But not many people today. It's quite a nice concept. At the top here is a butcher's that sells barbecue equipment.
A
barbecue. And people buy their sausages, their meats, well, probably not sausages.
He's not allowed.
Put that man. Look, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor and I want my sausages.
Kebabs, and then put them on the little barbecues that you saw next to the benches. And the smell is sort of roasting meat and a lot of smoke. That's the kind of smell up here. But it's a nice little concept. That's better. Yeah. And while it's a nice little area up here, a little bit disappointing. I wanted to go down towards the lake that you saw in part of the video. I wanted to just take in some of the scenery. You can't. It just seems a very safe, enclosed, kind of family place, really. Just had a drink, just sort of, you know, enjoy the view, but that's it. My hope was I'd explore the hills in the background, but the security guard's telling me I can't go that way, so it's all very controlled.
Ooh, access denied!
But at the same time, it's nice. For the princely sum of 9 Turkish lira, which is, well, the exchange rate keeps worsening and worsening. Well, no, for Turk's perspective, so it's about $2 at the moment, just under $2, I think. See, this is sad. There's litter everywhere, simply because people have put their bottles down to enjoy the view, and then they leave their bottles.
People start pollution. People can stop it.
I mean, come on guys, you can do better than that, please. Staying just over there. Okay, trying not to burn myself too much because I am frazzled.
Everything burns.
This is some epic proportions right here in terms of Greek history. I'm in Turkey, but this is Greek history. This was built in the 4th century AD. However, an earthquake hit it somewhere around 174 AD. But good old chap Marcus Aurelius, remember that guy, gladiator?
I brought the sword. Nothing more.
He ordered it to be rebuilt, and it was rebuilt, and I think some of what you see over here was rebuilt. But then obviously time took its toll. The Ottoman Empire, the Persians came in, the Ottomans came in, and it was kind of left into disrepute. But it's a phenomenal piece of history right here, right in the center of Izmir, right in the center. Just to the side of the site and underground, there's this sort of underground sort of portico. Water would flow down here, and it was, well, in a way it was this water storage facility. That's the best way to describe it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was an aqueduct. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to find out, but there's very little text down here. So I just had some really amazing Turkish food. Actually amazing. It was okay. It was good. It was good. Now I'm just sort of out and about, looking for places to sort of entertain myself. I don't think I'm going to be filming too much as of the rest of tonight. My battery is on 5%, so this is me for the night. Anyway, until tomorrow. Let's see what happens then. Turkey's Hollywood Boulevard.
Women, you can't live with them, pass the beer nuts.
The next day.
Okay, on my way to Izmir airport, where I've decided to rent a car to basically tour the Turkish coast. Was going to get a bus, but the taxi driver showed me a good price. I think I was about to miss the bus. Last night was interesting. Ended up at a bar called Cheers.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
And at this place, Cheers, it seemed to sort of double up as a pimp house and a drug dealer's house.
Grab a seat, boy. Grab your sofa egg roll. We got everything here from a little eye Joe to damn if I know. No thanks.
Just sat there having a beer. I saw some incredible things going on. Didn't stay long, have to be honest. I was knackered from all the traveling, but now for the first time in about 2-3 days, I feel refreshed and ready to go. So it's good.
Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things about renting a car when you're on, well, I guess it's vacation in a way, but traveling, make sure you pick a car company where there's somebody in the office, because this car company, I've been stood outside for a while. Nobody's in the office yet. Still waiting.
Dude, where's my car? Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude? Dude, there's your car. Oh.
I picked a car. I picked the Fiat 500. They give me an Opel Corsa instead. That's a little bit disappointing. Oh well.
Hey, do you want to see something?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I live to see the seven wonders, I'll make a prayer to the rainbow's end.
So I'm quite excited about this museum because there's some impressive Greek artifacts. One, for example, this is this sort of display of Odysseus when he killed the giants, and this is him with his peers / colleagues / warriors, basically sort of celebrating. the sort of the fact that they killed the giant, and it's impressive. It goes back a lot longer than 2,000 years. Zeus. And this right here is Marcus Aurelius. He's the reason that where I was yesterday was rebuilt in the 2nd century AD after the earthquake. Good old Marcus here said, let's rebuild that. Sadly, what we see here is almost exhibited what we saw in 2016 in the Islamic Caliphate, the Islamic State, when they came in. They saw artifacts that weren't related to their culture. So what did they do? They took axes, they took hammers, and they just smashed them up. Sadly, this has been going on since the beginning of Islam. And these statues were once complete when Islam basically took over this region. They were smashed up. Now, granted, occasionally a statue would fall over and be smashed, but that didn't happen that happened in rare occasions. The majority of statues that you see with no hands, no breasts, no penises, no heads, they've been smashed up deliberately by a culture that basically means submission. Islam means submission. If you do not submit to Islam and if you don't embrace Islam, this is what happens. This is coming to the West. Absolutely amazing about these two statues you just seen is the detail of these statues, and also just I have no idea because no one's here to tell me, and literally the plaque down here tells me nothing. What all this means? What do the sort of egg-shaped things on her mean? if you know, can you tell me in the comments below? I'd love to know. To me, this woman or man is almost very supernatural, almost alien-like. Was this entirely man-made in terms of inspired, or did something else inspire them? That's the question.
Is such a thing even possible? Yes, it is.
Looks like the actor.
Children, I bring you love.
It's a monster! Kill it! Kill it!
It's not a monster. It's Mr. Burns.
So, if you remember, there was an image in the museum of what Artemis looked like. It was this huge sort of building with column after column after column. And this is where I am. I'm where Artemis used to be. And all that is left is this one column. It's really sad, actually. It's really sad that, okay, granted, a lot of museums around the world have taken some of the columns, which is good to preserve them, because the reality is, if they were left here, they would be gone, because no one cares, no one gives a crap. There's a mosque just above this hill, you saw it in the last shot, that's 600 years old. That's the newest building sort of historical value around here. This is thousands and thousands of years old, but because certain cultures don't value other cultures, they feel they need to impose their culture and destroy what was before them, and it's just shocking. This is like the kids you hear about that have destroyed some artifact that had been there for thousands of years. Well, these civilizations that destroy these places are, in my opinion, like just as bad as those kids, if not worse, because they should know better, because most of the time these people are adults. But this is supposedly one of the many wonders of the world, and the wandering Englishman, is slightly upset, slightly disappointed, but at the same time I'm glad I'm here before it's just to see the fragments that are left. But this is all that is left, and it is kind of sad.
One hour later.
So I made it to the archaeological ruins of Ephesus. The British Museum of London in the 19th century began archaeological digs at this place. What's strange is the fact that it had never been done before. Literally everything you see carved out of the sort of the mountains here was dug up by the archaeologists from the British Museum. Come on people, let's get with the program. I mean, okay, it's amazing that this was just left in ruins, it really is. But I'm glad to be here to sort of see a lot of this, and a lot of ruins there are. So I'm basically standing above the amphitheatre here, and it's similar to the amphitheatre you would see in ancient Athens, similar to Dionysus's amphitheatre. I imagine a lot of plays put on in sort of, you know, worship of Dionysus, and then worship of all the Greek gods that often plays were written about. They would be performed down here, and members of high society would generally be the people watching, because generally the plebs were not invited to these things, and if they were invited they certainly couldn't afford the tickets. But it's a beautiful setting, and you know, since seeing the sort of disappointment of Artemis itself, the surrounding area here, there's certainly some amazing artifacts and history to see. So this is not a disappointment. And the price to get in was 20 Turkish lira. It's about £5 or so.
Artemis， 然后呢，我问一下这个英文到。
So as I walk among these ancient ruins with tourists holding their selfie sticks, I have to be careful where I stand, because the floor is entirely marble and I don't have grips on my shoes, and I have almost slipped over a couple of times. Hopefully during this shot it's not going to happen. But honestly, truly quite a remarkable place. So, some of my Scottish friends and family, and also you people that have actually read a book, I'm hoping all of you, to be honest, if you got this far on the video, will be aware that Hadrian, Emperor Hadrian, built a wall between England and Scotland. Well, he not only was a wall built under his name, because he didn't actually build the wall, it was his men and slaves that built the wall. His men and slaves also built Hadrian's Gate here, Ephes, is where you will find it. And what a beautiful gate. We're gonna have a closer look. But it just heads up, it's 44 degrees right now. Sweat is dripping off every face. The sensible people are the Chinese, because they're the ones with the umbrellas. I don't have one, but it's, oh my God, it's hot. It's so hot.
Sen kötü çıktıysan ben ne yapayım? Arkası gayet güzel valla.
So I'm standing inside the what is Hadrian's Gate, inside the inner walls, and effectively this would have been a library. There would have been books all over the shelves. I think it was commissioned by Julius Caesar to be a library after the place was built in honor of Hadrian, because I think Emperor Hadrian became before Julius Caesar, so that would make sense. And quite a library it would have been. So just away from Hadrian's Gate, there's this big square, kind of an empty square, but surrounded by columns. This would have been the marketplace back in the day. It was basically commissioned by Emperor Augustus in the, I believe, somewhere in the middle of the 3rd century. However, sadly, around about 4 AD, is that right? So, yeah, around 400 AD, it suffered a big earthquake, and sadly I think a lot of it was destroyed, but it carried on. But the real destruction came obviously when the Persians came through here, and also it just turned into a ghost town, and it was then forgotten.
This town is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs have been closed down.
Baba, yukarı çıkalım mı? Yok abla, bak daha çok var.
A little bit out of breath, shows my level of fitness at 44 degrees. And I'm not talking about the angle. The angle is probably about 44, 45 degrees or so. Temperature is 44 degrees. What that is in Fahrenheit, I have no idea. I'm an Englishman that thinks in Celsius. Without getting heat stroke and without passing out and then falling back, I'm in the nosebleed seats at the moment. However, they do go on a little bit further, but there's fencing that stops me going up that far. And these seats, back in the day when this theatre was built in this 2nd century AD, they would have seen plays, even musicals, well, certainly live musical performances. However, the big spectacle back then was obviously when the Romans were in town, and there was gladiator matches, and some of the finest gladiators from the region would have fought to their death down there. And underneath the theatre there's spaces for wild animals, there's spaces for people preparing for the performances, and but at the same time, what a view. Look at that. This truly was an amazing city back in the day. I think the population when it was at its greatest was about 200,000, but if you think about the number of people on the planet back then, 200,000 is a lot of people, and this truly was one of the great cities back in the day. Just imagine time traveling.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
So I've just doused myself in a bit of water. I feel cooler for it now. It doesn't make me cool though. But this place is cool. This is one of the most amazing sort of Greek artifact sites, places where you'll see a lot of history that I've ever been to. And I've been to Athens. I've been to places. I've been in places in Morocco. I've been to places well all over the place. And this is one of the wonders, I think. You know, this is why we travel. Out of 10, 10. This place is a 10. I obviously was very disappointed with Artemis, but once I got to the city of Ephes, is that how you say it? Ephes?
Ephesus.
Dumbass.